I had a vase in my inventory.
Yes,
I tried throwing this vase at a demon chicken,
Hmm.
but it didn't work.
Oh,
The vase just plopped on the floor.
Oh.
And each time I tried to square off with this chicken, the game would ask me, there's a broken vase. Do you want to pick it up?
Yeah, right, yes. I
said,
that happen.
no. And then I tried punching, and it didn't register the punch. And it just asked me, there's a broken vase at your feet.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick it up? No! The chicken killed me! But in order
I can see that.
I couldn't throw a single punch. Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. Are you well?
Yes. Kind of. I don't have an icebreaker.
Hey, well, it's bound to happen at least once in our 50-so episodes. So there you go, ladies.
50, so this is episode 60.
Okay, 60, 50.
Yes.
You know, when you get older like me, you don't count time or passages of things, you just go with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting opening. There you
go. Well done. Yes, this is episode 60, and this is significant because this is our 2023 Halloween special.
Oh yeah, of course. And weirdly enough, it was a coincidence, right?
Extremely. Just like the previous year where we 100% got Fear on Halloween.
Yeah,
that also was a coincidence, but the list knows.
All hell the list. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how the list knows.
This list is sentient.
Ooh, don't say that. Like with the AI stuff that's on the internet at the moment, and people losing their jobs. You know, you don't want the list out there.
It is. We got Alone in the Dark to be published on Halloween, 31st of October. I'm not kidding, ladies and gentlemen.
It is crazy. And it's also weirdly coincidental, taking into account the Alone in the Dark remake is around the corner, granted next year.
Yes.
So the list, it's starting to worry me now. The list is starting to worry us to a great degree.
To anyone who thought that we're reviewing the remake today, sorry.
That would have been like a world premiere. The Critical Arcade has the first copy of Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark. Sorry, step aside, Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're in the spotlight now.
No, today we're reviewing not the remake, but the original from way back when, more than 30 years ago.
I was shocked that we got the list, and I was checking the list out, and I was okay, Alone in the Dark, and I was like, okay, what, 1992? Like, 1992? I was like, that can't be right. 1992, I was 5.
You want your mind blown even more? I wasn't even born yet.
Don't even say things like that.
I'm going to say it again, I wasn't even born yet. 1992,
Damn.
that's more than 30 years ago.
I know. I was 5. I was there. I was the birth. I was at 1992.
A lot of people are saying that this game, Alone in the Dark, is the very first survival horror game.
I get it, you know. I was playing this game and reviewing the game, and first of all, finding this game on the internet was relatively difficult.
Yeah.
You know, because there's the remake that happened a few years ago, right? That horrible one about Central Park and...
Yes, in 2008. I mean, I don't know. No, that was the early HD era. They just add guns.
Yeah, right. And
a
weird
stern
mechanics.
Protagonist. And explosions. It'll sell.
And then there was Alone in the Dark, The Nightmare.
The new
doesn't
Nightmare.
end. Thank you. And I kept finding all these ones, and I found it really difficult to find the original Alone in the Dark. Found it eventually after digging through. And 1992, I was 5, and I looked at this game, and I was like, that's actually kind of impressive.
Yes.
It's weird to say, because 1992, for example, I wrote some down, other games that came out in 1992. Now, I don't know, Nick, if you recognise any of these. Wolfenstein 3D, did you ever play that?
I No, not this. I played Wolfenstein, but not this version.
No, you played the nice 3D graphics, clean. This is awesome. We're talking about the 2D maze runner type Wolfenstein.
The not real 3D version.
Yeah, right? To be honest with you, these games have got great memories for me. Those games were great. I used to love the old Wolfenstein Spear of Destiny games. Of course, Sonic 2 came out. You must know that for the Sega Mega Drive.
Played Sonic 2. Good stuff.
In 1992, King's Quest was on 6. It was their 6th. I was like, damn. Wow. I was actually genuinely shocked how long gaming's actually been around. And I don't mean like Pong and Space Invaders and stuff like that. I mean like gaming. Like it was slowly becoming gaming mainstream on your PC at home.
Very slowly, PC. But yes.
Yeah,
I think
it was crazy.
The 80s, it transitioned from arcades to home consoles.
Yeah,
but the 90s, that's when people really got their attention stuck in gaming.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We went from things like this, and at the end of the 90s, we had things like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that's right.
Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid. The 90s really solidified gaming in the home.
Yeah, it's always fun just to go back and just see where things come from. Yes. Like anything, any History Channel thing or anything like that. To actually see where things developed from, and you see, hell, we got VR coming into play now. It's really crazy to see the evolution of it, and fun to go down the old trails again and play the old games and see.
That's a big selling point for this game for me.
Yeah, same. This feels historic. This game felt, like I said, it's one of those things, ladies and gents, when you play a game like this, you have to put on your 1990s goggles.
Very true.
You can't compare it to the latest games or the sounds of the latest games and the length and this ain't no Elden Ring. This is, it's never going to be. But if you put those goggles on, this game's quite impressive. I thought it was weirdly impressive.
This is I'd put this in the same category as games that defined gaming, but that went forgotten, right?
Yes, I agree.
The same category that Marathon is in.
Yes, no, I agree. Yeah, very much forgotten nowadays.
But I mean, it's so obvious that this was probably the biggest inspiration for Resident Evil 1, which could be the most significant horror game from the 90s.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say that's...
So the impact this game had on gaming is phenomenal. Huge.
Yeah, like I know, like I say, I do know that Alone in the Dark is being remade, but I'm not a horror game person. So I was always thinking, why that game? Why that version? The 1992 version is being made in a game in 2024.
Yeah.
And now I get it. It's obviously the people who wanted to and the developer now are a bit older than I am. And I can imagine this game being the game. This game was the Lovecraftian,
me too.
Edgar Allan Poe scary game. And I really understand why you'd want to remake it. I really can. This really was.
This is a video game from 1992. It looked the way it looked, but it was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe. For real. They're not just saying that for marketing. It really was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft.
But it comes across, it's the standard haunted mansion on a hill type aspect, right?
Yes.
Which it sounds cliche now, but back in the day, that was the thing. That was the main scary event. It was.
I mean, it holds up. We just got the House of Usher this Halloween, the fall of the House of Usher. Sorry, and it's almost the same premise.
How did the list know?
I'm telling you.
No, House of Usher was on Netflix.
List. Really?
All hail the list. Wow. Like I said, House of Usher is supposed to be very good. I haven't watched it yet. I know you're a big fan of the director, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I couldn't believe we were playing a game that had inspirations from that, and I keep hearing how Netflix and reviewers are saying House of Usher is really great and you should watch it and stuff like that. It's weird. The list is scaring me now.
Yeah. We should start adding the list as a host.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's scary. I got that HAL 2000 or whatever. I can't do that thing.
Oh no. But let's dive into the segments.
Yeah, let's.
For this game, Alone in the Dark, 1992. Oh man, this originally launched on MS-DOS.
Yeah, good old MS-DOS. I miss MS-DOS. Go on, sorry. I used to be able to program in MS-DOS years and years ago. I used to love MS-DOS. Sorry, go on. Yes, it was. Originally released MS-DOS.
I think the inspirations for this game is the perfect segue into narrative. Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft. You can immediately see how this was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, but only later in the game, and by later, I mean, I don't know, 20 minutes later, then you can see why this was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, it's true, yes, I agree entirely, because you wouldn't... It's one of those games, even the beginning, the intro sequence, right? That is so Lovecraftian and stuff like that.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, it's true, you get two, don't you? Apologies. You get you get to choose a character, don't you?
That's right. Edward. What? Oh, here we go. Edward Carnby, and is it Emily Hartwood?
Yes, I think so. I did write down their names, and now I can't find out where I put my notes. But yeah, so you get to do them from two perspectives. One was isn't one of them related to the gentleman?
Emily, that might not be her name. Emily Hartwood is Jeremy Hartwood's niece.
Yeah, that's right. And the guy, you know, I'm not good with names. He was out of luck, down on his luck detective, right? PI
yes,
type.
He's a down on his luck detective who got word of this mansion that's now the owner committed suicide, and the items in this mansion is now in a limbo state, kind of to be grabbed.
That's right, in the piano. So he's smelling
a payday.
That's right. That's right. And granted, that now the game plays out as you would, like you said, it feels like Resident Evil now, but it's obviously the other way around. It's very much you drive up, you go through the front door. Now you got the cliched door closes behind you, and now you're locked into the house. You know, but this was new back in the day, and then sorry.
You're right. This wasn't cliche yet.
No,
this
exactly.
Even
it's
a
weird.
Trope yet.
It is weird to have these like fresh ideas, so to speak. But you watch them and go, oh yeah, well, I can see that picture. Someone's going to climb out that picture later, and look at that suit of armor. There's no doubt that suit of armor is going to come to life later. It's funny because they're all in this game, and you can see it's going to happen. But like you said, these were first. These were fresh. These were new ideas.
This game did stuff. I know we should talk about it in gameplay, but this game did stuff. This game did stuff in almost every room. But anyway, the narrative. The narrative for this game is the owner of this manor, Derceto, committed suicide. Jeremy Hartwood, the owner of Derceto, committed suicide. Nobody knows why, but you, either as this detective or niece knows, there's a clue inside the piano in the attic. So that's where the game starts, in the attic, and then you slowly start seeing, oh no, this manor has some bad stuff going on. I need to GTFO.
Yes, correct.
And this manor is not letting you GTFO, so slowly but surely, I know!
Shocker, but yeah.
Slowly but surely, you're putting clues together that you're getting, and this manor, you can't just get out. You need to stop whatever's in there, because do you know what the bad guy's end game is in this game? Do you know what happens when you die?
I don't know. No, I actually don't.
When you die, your body gets dragged to the basement by a zombie.
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
And then the ending shot is you on this altar with tree roots around you, and that's it.
Jeez, that's
dark.
All
you're getting.
That's cool. I never actually saw that part. That's dark. But isn't it cool?
It's only after I've read the plot on Wikipedia and in the game manual that I realized, oh no, there's a demon in the basement, and you're being put on this altar so you can become its host.
Ah, classic. Yes, very, very, very cliche now yet again. But
yeah, exactly. Classic now, but then, oh no.
But isn't it crazy that they did that? that they added the deaths.
Yes.
It's common now. We all play the games. I don't know if Resident Evil has it. When you get captured and you're dragged somewhere, then you see the horrific death. But the idea they actually programmed that in this game too.
Yes.
That if you died, they showed you, or the story continued to a finality that you didn't want, but it still continued. That was still that. It's simple, but that's still brand new. This was game. This is game history developed in this little game. It's really crazy.
I can't. And it's one of 2 bad endings.
Ooh. Like how? Spoilers, fundamentally, but yeah.
Yes. Okay, but there's. I mean.
For the people who were going to download or play a 1992 game randomly after this podcast, spoilers are ahead.
And also, disclaimer, we've got no idea what the story is for the remake. So if this is the story of the remake, apologies. We had no idea. But the second bad ending, if you die, then all the Lovecraftian big bad guys like Cthulhu and his buds just emanate from this house and is unleashed upon the world.
I think I saw that picture. Right? That's right. No, I have seen that picture. It's
just a picture, really.
Yeah, it's a cool picture as well. I liked it. I was actually shocked how well made that was.
Yes. So either you become the host for a demon that enters the world, or you unlock all the Lovecraftian elder gods, and they're unleashed upon the world.
So it's a lot of pressure for a down-and-out PI and a niece or
it is,
cousin.
Exactly, and all you want to do is GTFO. This is insane. The other part that I really, really couldn't believe they did in 1992 is the classic phrase, show, don't tell.
Okay, I love it.
A lot of times, especially in that first ending, they would show you something, but they'd never tell you what's going on or what this meant. This is 1992. Games didn't do this, not even for the next 10 years.
Well, this game doesn't hold your hand at all. Doesn't spoon feed you or anything. This is that 1990s game. All games were hard. I'll give you Sonic and stuff, they're not too bad. But, we all love Elden Ring and the complexity and how tough it is. Games back in the day were hard, and this is no exception. This game was weirdly difficult because of the puzzles, even the fighting was
the combat
frustratingly difficult. Yeah, no doubt. That was... And the things that you had to work out were complicated. It's one of those ones that now you probably do need to use like a game FAQs or walkthrough or something to get you through
it. I definitely did. Because
some of those puzzles are like Monkey Island level of logic. Like, what? Like,
but
go on.
I put it in my notes, granted, at gameplay, so I'll bring it up later.
Yeah, of course.
You're right. This game is very light on story, but it makes up for it in what needed to happen around the house.
Yeah, it's just like Resident Evil, like you said earlier. Resident Evil now does a bit more narrative and builds it on, but we've all been in the house where you're just looking for a key or you're looking for
a blue crank.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that same level of, I'm here, what do I do? And and I've got limited health and limited... It's that same tense atmosphere you get in the same game. It is funny just to see it in a 1992 game.
I really enjoyed everything that this game did with you're granted with 90s goggles.
Yes.
I thought this is groundbreaking. It's almost like what From Software did with Demon Souls. I'm not sure if you're up to speed with that entire thing, but they released Demon Souls for the PS3 and it was good. Yeah, it's definitely the first entry in a brand new genre, but people almost didn't give it a second look.
No, I remember that. I remember it coming out and it being kind of, it didn't get much notoriety.
No,
I remember.
It's only when they released its follow-up, Dark Souls,
that
it changed everything. And I think that's the same case with Alone in the Dark and, granted, not the same studio, but Resident Evil.
Yeah. They were definitely inspired by it. You can't play this game and not see the connections in the Resident Evil games.
But then Resident Evil was the one that just changed the whole industry.
Yeah, I remember.
This is the one that kind of laid the groundwork.
Oh yes, yeah, and it's always, these are the ones that are the most fun to find. Like you said, they're the ones that laid that groundwork to the greats that we play today. The Resident Evil, they're even being remade, as we all know, the Resident Evil games and stuff, because the formula still works. It's still magical to play, and like you said, it just feels so nice to play what was potentially the first one, and just see it develop. Like I said, it's a little seed of history. It makes me smile just watching and playing those types of things.
Yeah, and when the list knows, all hell the list, and it gives us these games to make an episode on. This is why I started this podcast. Because for exactly this reason. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
You're happy boy. Anything else narratively? Because
no, this game it's light on narrative. It really is. They give you notes. On what happened in the house and why Jeremy committed suicide.
Yeah.
It's because he didn't want to become a host that you become when you die.
It's a good reason. I'm down. I'm down with that logic. That works for me.
But a big chunk of this game is just what funky stuff you need to do to escape.
Okay, let's jump into visuals then. And I got a point. Again, ladies and gents, you've got to put your 1990s glasses on, because the visuals are... It's one of those funny things. These visuals are great for 1992. And
there we go. For 1992. No other game looked like this in 1992.
It actually won Best Graphics in 1993. This game...
Easy.
It won the best graphics for that year. And most original story and gameplay also won.
I'm not surprised at all.
Right?
This entire game is, besides for some of the backgrounds, this entire game is made of, how do you say this? Polygonal variables.
Yeah, just lots of polygons, especially the bad guys and yourself.
Yes.
You can see... Because I love the idea that they gave the guy a moustache. I know it's very fitting in the era that you're with, but I love the idea they made a man and they said, "Oh, but we need to put a polygon moustache on it. He needs a moustache to be, refined and gentlemanly."
My favorite part is when you are in the fighting stance.
Yes, yeah.
You square off.
You do, yeah, I know
It's
what you mean.
Even the manual, I read the manual, even the manual says when you're in the fighting stance, you are ready to square off, and that is the perfect square off stance. You're just in this old manly boxing stance, and you kind of wiggle around. It's so good.
It's like that. You do insult me, sir, and slap someone with like a glove, and then you go into the pose like, come on, we shall duel. That's right. No, but it adds to the charm. It's silly we say it now.
It really does.
But it's quite funny to go from looking around, and then you have a zombie to defeat, and then you've got to switch on fight mode.
Fighting.
And it's like, on guard.
I challenge you, zombie.
Yeah. And it's funny, but it works. It works.
It does, because this game is set in the 1930s.
Exactly.
Or is it it's 1926?
Yeah, I'd say it's the 20s probably makes sense.
Depression era.
Yeah, no. It was, and moustaches, of course, all the rage. If you were.
Oh yes.
And like the first bad guy, the whoever invented the enemies in this. Okay, zombie is a classic. Weird
zombie.
De-feathered chicken.
Demon chicken.
I could not be less scared of this like.
What? You're lying.
Chicken nugget coming after me. I was like, what?
In the attic, when the chicken busts through the window and starts maniacally attacking you, I got scared.
I was like, what is this? Like, is this like KFC? Is this the Colonel's like nightmare? Like his Lovecraftian dream? Like, they're all coming after me. I've killed so many chickens. And that was...
Oh no, they're going to be turned into chicken pies.
But on the other side, some of the bad guys were actually really well made. Like there were some weird ones. I remember, ladies and gents, we are talking about polygonal bad guys, so they're all relatively hilarious if you look at them now. But there was a bad guy that came out the picture You know, and there was
I didn't get this. I didn't get this one. The bad guy that came out of the picture.
Yeah. You didn't?
No, I got a ton of others. Okay, the bad guys, there are so many. It's almost like every second room has a different bad guy.
And the music changes. Yeah.
I mean...
Sorry, we'll do that later, yeah.
If we appreciate the amount of enemies in this game, there was standard zombie. I even had a short zombie.
Yes.
There was demon chicken. Yep. There were vampire spawn.
Yeah. There was jellyfish in the bathtub.
Jellyfish in the bathtub, yes.
There were the...
suit of armor.
Of course. There were demon things later, like with wings and horns and stuff.
That's the vampire spawn on the staircase,
okay.
Right?
That's right, yeah.
But yes, wings, tails, horns, purple skin.
There was loads. There was an ancient Indian that you had to shoot with an arrow. Because,
sorry, what?
You know, there was I'm going to say an Indian, you know, like cowboys and Indians. There was a cursed picture. That's right, that you had to shoot a bow and arrow at to defeat it. There were some really whimsical ways to
out
defeat
of
people.
Paintings?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay. That's the last point I died at, and I didn't know what to do.
No, well, there was a lot of that.
Did you...
there was so much of like, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
Did you encounter a ballroom full of ghost dancers?
The dancing ghosts, yes.
The dancing ghosts that turned into abstract forms. That
was cool. It was
very cool. That was very Lovecraftian.
Yeah, right? That was great. That was a great little bit.
And then I'm assuming you also encountered the sword fighter in the hallway?
Yes. He was... yeah, that's right. He was hard.
The scariest one I encountered was... I don't even know what it was. I don't know how to explain this. You opened a door, and the entire door frame is a giant green worm.
Yes, that's right.
What is that?
But these, again, are like cliches now, aren't they? The door frame biting you is... I swear I've read in Goosebumps books and stuff like that. I don't know what that thing was. I'm guessing it was like some sort of Cthulhu brother and sister.
Could have been.
You know what the scariest parts for me, were?
Yeah.
And I know this is very on the point. The rooms that were dark. Yeah, I know it's called...
the room, yes.
It's called Alone in the Dark, but it's something really surreal, ladies and gentlemen. I get that we all play these games now, and there's lots of scenes where you're in a dark area, and if you look for torches, and you've got that... You can barely see in front of you. There's something eerily scary about your screen just going the normal black. Like you switched off your monitor, but you're in a room. There's no light. There's no like shadow. There's no like little fire in the corner. It's literally just black.
It's pitch black. It's just the color black. That happened to me. I went in the room. The little text at the bottom says the room is too dark to see anything. Before I could exit, I heard one of the enemy sounds.
Yes.
And it worked. It got me, and I thought, oh damn, I need to get out of this room. This is not good for my health.
It is. It's the worst because you don't know what camera angle you initially have, and if you don't remember where the door is, you are really screwed. Like it really is tense. And I did love those little visual bumps you can't see.
Yes.
I'm like, no shit. Sorry. And those bits cracked me up when they came at the bottom.
Good. It's so good. A game that experimented with full 3D graphics managed to get that. And that is why I call these things art. When something somebody creates manages to evoke an emotion.
Yes, I agree entirely, yeah.
It's good. Come on.
But you can almost see the kids in 1992, the teenagers. This game would have been the game you went round to your friend's house to play and get scared of because you know that's what you did. I still remember years and years ago at a youth club, there were these 10-year-olds and they were allowed to purchase one game a year for the shared PlayStation or something like that. And there were these boys all saying Resident Evil, and they'd never even played it or knew what it was. They just knew it was scary and it was adult. And I can picture that same energy with this game. Let's get alone in the dark. Look. It's got real zombies.
Cool.
And, no, exactly. I can see that same energy.
Steven's got it. We don't see him at school anymore.
Exactly.
It must be good.
That type of thing. It was on a demo disc. You know. Floppy, this is so cool. Granted, floppy disc probably back in the day. Yeah, the visuals work. It all plays into, it's an old game, but it gives, like you said, if you can feel emotion, if you can be scared, if you can square off against a monster in a perfectly cheesy but fitting way, that means visually you're having fun. It was a smorgasbord of just weird delights.
There's one bit that stood out to me. I'm sure you got it as well. After you get out of the attic, there's a hallway with about 4 doors. You can't walk down the hallway because the floor caves out under you and you get an instant game over.
That's right.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Game.
A classic again, yeah.
So you need to go through one of the side doors that goes into the next room.
Yeah.
Once you're in this room and you pick up a specific item, the camera changes. The angle is now watching you play inside through the window. Does that make sense?
That's right. Yes. I know the bit you're talking about now. Yes, exactly right.
It does this for a second, and then you can hear, ooh, there's an enemy coming.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
A demon chicken crashes through the window and starts attacking you. What? How? That's it. That's so good.
It was.
That's so good.
And it was just one thing I remembered now. Weird visual thing, but one thing they put in is that the fella, I'm going to forget his name again, he could kick, and the woman couldn't. The niece, the fella had the kick option when you were fighting.
Yes, I kicked a ton.
Right? The female didn't have the kick option, just to weirdly denote the difference between male and female back in the day and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Literally did not program the girl to be able to kick anyone. Use swords and shoot things, but just to denote that men are more aggressive or something like that, they allowed him to kick and stab and punch.
Was this an indirect hard mode?
No, this was just, I think just characterization. I guess the niece was more dainty, was more feminine, so they decided not to kick. I don't even know. In theory, I didn't play the woman. Was she wearing a skirt?
I think she was. One of those, I think she was wearing just a long dress.
Which would be hard to kick with if you were to do if you'd really think about it. But it was just an interesting addition. Oh no, yeah, I know. I wear many dresses. Very hard to kick with. Visually it actually works. I can't really complain. It had a lot of, and this won graphics of the year. So this was
it. It won because it was the best of that entire year. It really wasn't for years after that we would get fully polygonal games.
Exactly, and 3D and all the other things that we're so used to now. It really didn't exist.
I think the controls were the bit that got it under, but we'll get to that in gameplay.
Should we jump into audio then?
Let's do audio.
Yeah.
Some of the music in this game genuinely felt creepy. It genuinely did. There were parts that felt a bit introspective. There were parts of the soundtrack that felt, okay, it's ramping up, so this must be a part where there's combat.
Yes, correct. Yes.
There's one track for this game called Growing Fear.
Yeah.
I listened to this on YouTube. There's one track called Growing Fear that I had to stop what I was doing and I needed to go, put this off. Because it made me anxious.
Well, that's with a title like Growing Fear, it seems like it's doing its job. It was
they knew what they were doing. It could easily be used in a horror game today.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I even thought the little intro bit, I guess you'd call it an intro, it is very quick, where you arrive and you read the letter. The music there, again, it's still very cliched now. It's still very, windswept trees, lightning, all the old cliche thing.
Yes, those tropes.
That worked really kind of well. With everything you're looking at and having the sound, and of course the sound is I don't know, low quality because of the era. So, but it works so well. They actually put a lot of effort into it because it was scary. It was atmospheric, which other games like I remember Wolfenstein 3D. Their music was just very repetitive and the same, and even King's Quest music actually wasn't that bad. It was a bit flighty and Sonic. The music was great. The one part I couldn't get over was whoever did the voice acting work for the Jeremy Hardwood letter.
Yeah?
It cracked me up. It cracked me up.
The voice, you're right. I don't think I wrote a note for that, but the voice, voice acting is a product of its time.
Oh, it's like, you know, when somebody thinks this, you know, this isn't an art form or something like that, and they said, oh well, let's get somebody just to read the letter. You know,
exactly.
We record that, and like, Steve, where's the janitor? Let's just get the janitor in to read the letter, and he reads it with such overindulgence of the words, like, I couldn't get through it because he was emphasizing everything, and this was supposed to be his like last letter or why he was there, but it was so weirdly, for me, kind of campy and overemphasized every word that didn't need to be overemphasized. It was just really bad voice acting work, which just cracked me up. We had the
lovely, a lot of fun
introduction. It's scary, and then the reading of this letter just like broke the illusion for me. It was too funny.
It is just a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah,
the voice acting, some of the tracks they used fit very well. One of them really scary. I think the part of the audio that impressed me the most was sounds during gameplay. It feels like the game did. It started one of the common tropes that we now take for granted, and that's playing just a random scary sound during gameplay, but you're not being informed what that sound was.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where it came from or why it played. It just, you're walking down the hallway and you're hearing a howl. And you know it means something, but you don't know what, where, or why.
Or you hear that window break, but there's no windows in the room you're in, so you're like, whoa, what came in, right? Like,
that definitely means something. A lot of horror games these days use audio for just smoke and mirrors. It doesn't mean anything. They just want to scare you.
That's
but not here yet. Not yet. Over here, the sounds mean something. And in a game so hard, it genuinely made me anxious.
No, yeah, again, you can see why this, like I said, it just goes to show, I see now why it's been remade. Yes. Everything about this game says it deserves a remake. Even compared to a bunch of games that have been remade and everybody's like, why did that need a remake? This one does need one. I found even the combat sounds were kind of good. You know, you're punching a zombie and it's going thwack. You know, it feels meaty, but when you were sword fighting, you had the clatter of swords when you accidentally hit his.
I forgot that.
Yeah, that's right.
Incredible.
It was like,
you've got a sword and you're sword fighting this other dude with a sword, and you're hearing sword sounds.
Yeah,
sword
exactly. Out of nowhere.
Sounds.
Everything else has just been hitting and kicking and kind of running. Then all of a sudden you got this like big Italian or French looking fella who's squaring off against you, and you fight, and it's literally sword clacking sounds. And you now your combat has now been elevated because now you've got to be good. You can't just swipe and swipe again and get the timing right. Yeah, it was pretty. It is remarkable. It really is quite remarkable.
Some of these sounds, or voice acting rather, can come off as goofy. But again, put your 1992 goggles on.
Yeah.
It's just a product of its time, but some of the stuff that this game did is still being used today.
Yes.
Then they weren't tropes though, and now a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. Then it wasn't. This was groundbreaking.
Yes, it's the equivalent as why everybody's making a Souls-like today, because Souls-like genre has catched so many imaginations, and this this is the same thing. The breaking the window, the fighting, being able to beat up zombies with your bare hands compared to shotguns and all the other things we have today.
Yes.
And even that one part where your sword breaks, that was so stressful. You know the part when you got a saber and I was fighting away and then your saber snaps?
Same. I was fighting like, with... What? I didn't know I needed to keep it for the sword fight later on.
Yeah,
so I just fought some zombies. I just got a weapon.
I genuinely thought it had durability like games today. I was like, crap.
Again, there's just another thing that this game... It's just good. It's just good. Unfortunately, though, I think the part of this game that did not age well, in fact, it aged quite poorly, was the gameplay.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is just so unfortunate.
Yeah. It's if I wasn't of the age of the 90s and say the 2000s, I wouldn't known how to do most of the stuff to even engage fight mode. Like if you haven't got the manual and know that you have to go to the inventory each time you want to do anything
or switch up a stance.
Yeah, you'd be stuck. You'd be like, how do I kill the zombies? Because there's no way. And the puzzles, as we know, they can be so vague. Like, there was one where we found the gramophone really early, but to use the gramophone, you had to do really later for the dancing people, right?
Yeah.
And and of course, just to add to that crazy, which is good, it works, like as we know in Resident Evil, a limited inventory space. You only had like 10 to 12 items you could carry at a time.
Correct. When I found the gramophone, the game told me, sorry, you can't pick this up.
Yes, right. That's right.
You're just a guy.
Yeah.
You can't. I was quite surprised though. But it really, I've got it down here. Just like you said, the gramophone can be used in the room with the ghost dancers so they won't attack you. This game is something in between a point and click adventure game and a survival horror.
Yeah. Yeah, and then later on in the game, when you get to the basement, it switches everything up. Did you get to the basement at all? Like, where you had to do fundamentally platforming?
No, I didn't. What?
Yeah, you get once you've done a bunch of the puzzle solves and stuff like that, you go down to a flight of stairs, and before you're in this lovely haunted mansion or scary haunted mansion, and then when you go downstairs, now it looks like you're getting slowly closer to the pits of hell. You've got rocks that you've got to jump from one to the other. You actually unlock the ability to jump. So
no way.
It's a mental bit because you know the camera angles in this game and trying to do jumping mechanics is just really broken. It's just so wrong. Man. But yeah, it changes entirely. You've got this whole platforming bit that you've got to do. Yeah, and it changes.
I never really got into the base, the real basement where supposedly I can't even remember the bad guy's name, but the tree is the demon tree.
Yeah, I don't know the name.
I never got there.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But
the gameplay, I loved the idea that it changed it up because I'm trying to think of other examples of games where you're doing one thing, then all of a sudden it's a race. This all of a sudden it went from click point adventure, like you're right, it's kind of just a survival point and click and very Monkey Island without the humor. And then downstairs, I'm playing Doom. I'm this cool dude with a moustache. I'm jumping over boulders, which really looks like a gate of hell I'm going into. Granted, this guy is braver than I ever was. And now you're platforming. The idea that it took that change instantly, gameplay-wise, was just... Yeah, again, it's a game-changing concept that everything wasn't just the same. Just the same, and then the end.
Just in the middle, it can switch up everything.
Yeah. Unlocked a jump.
It's before this game... I almost want to say it's before... It's not just before its time. How do I say what I want to say?
It was... revolutionary.
Revolutionary. Right. Before its time. It's only way afterwards that this game really... that this game did stuff that... No, I'm not getting at what I want to say.
It's fine.
I want to cut this part out. Can we get some
dead air? Yeah.
Okay,
there's one part that really did bug me a little bit, which I found relatively unnecessary.
Yeah.
Was, you found, like, medikits, mediboxes, what you want to call it?
Yeah, I did.
And then you had to open them. In your inventory, you had to open them to get the medicine out. To get a
vial.
I was like, what?
Okay.
Why not just give me the vial?
Now I've got a vial. Now what can I do with the vial?
Yeah, I was like, now I've got to carry two things. Like, what?
And now I can drink the vial.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
I've drunk the vial. And you've got health back, but now you're carrying an empty medkit.
I know.
And an empty vial.
And one thing I never got shown, or I didn't look close enough, because I was wondering, where's my health? You know, we're so used to health bars and stuff. I'm like, where's my health bars? And then I went to the inventory screen, and then there's a number next to my name. And it was something like 12. And I was like, what's that? Is that my health? Is 12 max? Is 12 really low? I don't know. I was like, should I take a med kit? Because I don't know if I'm really dangerous now. And how much damage does something do to me?
I think that's the one thing I clicked earlier, I guess. I checked my inventory and I saw next to my face, 20.
Ah, so it was 20.
And then I got hit by the demon chicken, and then I opened it back up and I said, 17. And I know I got hit 3 times. So, of course, that's what that is. What I didn't know was when I drank the vial, all of a sudden now, my health is 25. Is that above? Can I go above max? Is 25 not even the max? That confused me.
Yeah, I guess in theory the medicine gave you a certain 15 or something, and it doesn't matter how much your health was, you'd get that 15.
Yeah, so you turn into super detective.
Yeah, right. I'd have loved his shirt just to bust off and his muscles come through. Yeah,
muscles.
Just Dwayne Johnson the whole thing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't want to square off with you now.
No, exactly. Yeah, and there was a very weird... I'm being nitpicky now. There was a weird... You couldn't drop items. You could only throw them.
Yes.
So when your inventory was full and you got rid of the book or you didn't need this anymore, you couldn't drop it. You had to go through that whole animation of throwing it every single time. It was mental.
Did you ever throw something at an enemy?
I didn't, no.
Okay. I tried... I had a vase in my inventory. I tried throwing this vase at a demon chicken, but it didn't work.
Oh,
the vase just plopped on the floor.
Oh.
And each time I tried to square off with this chicken, the game would ask me, there's a broken vase. Do you want to pick it up?
Yeah, right, yes. I
said,
that happen.
No. And then I tried punching, and it didn't register the punch. And it just asked me, there's a broken vase at your feet. Yeah. Do you want to pick it up? No! The chicken killed me! But in order
I can see that.
I couldn't throw a single punch.
But out of curiosity, did you never have that problem in Elden Ring? You know, when you've got to press triangle to pick something up? Or whatever.
Yeah.
That prompt, I can't play with that prompt on the bottom of the screen. So I need to get rid of it. So even if someone's fighting me, or at that time, I've got to get rid of that prompt. So then I'm pressing triangle and get rid of it. And now I'm like, oh, I'm fighting, aren't I? And I'm dead. I'm not good at these games. So fundamentally, this is another
But that's
flaw
because
from
Elden
my
Ring does this. Elden Ring does this thing where once you've picked something up, you now have you've picked this up.
Yes, that's right.
Box.
That's
and you need to exit the box by pressing A.
That's what I mean.
Or cross.
Now that's a newer game, and it's still one of my problems. I could see that same bit because it would. I could see the prompt saying, "Do you want to pick up the broken vase?" No, I'm trying to kill the demon chicken.
I'm trying to fight.
Jeez.
You know I'm trying to fight. There's an enemy.
Can't you hear the music?
Anyway. The gameplay for this game, it's unfortunately, it's not good. It aged poorly. Everything else, I think, is good.
Yeah.
The narrative, while it's light, is good. The visuals, excellent for its time. The audio still holds up. The gameplay, no, it's a skip. Just watch the game on YouTube or something.
Yeah, or at least go with a playthrough or walkthrough sheet, because the puzzles. When they tell you the answer, you go, but if you don't, you go, like you said, with the saber that broke. You could have quite easily dropped that because you think broken sword, but later on, you needed that sword to put onto a wall mount to open.
Yes,
I was like, jeez.
Or to get past the vampire spawn above the staircase.
Yeah, that was random.
You need to put a mirror in front of them.
Because everybody knows vampire spawns don't like their image.
Exactly. And the mirror is hidden away in a locked cabinet. And the key for the locked cabinet is hidden away in a vase behind the bed. In the same room, you need to fight a demon chicken. What?
Yeah, they were obscure as hell. But good. They were good, but you can't, back in the 90s, games were hard. They always were hard. You'd spend an hour trying to solve one puzzle.
I just think Resident Evil fixed the combat of this game, but it also fixed the puzzles. Because
I agree.
in this game, it is a obscure and it doesn't make a lot of sense. In Resident Evil, even the first one, you found a blue square hole in the wall.
Exactly,
so when you found blue square crank, you knew what to do.
Yeah. It was a bit more spoon-feedy. But you needed it. Like I say, this showed this. Actually, like you said, it shows the fault, and they knew that they needed to fix it, and they did in the Resident Evil.
Again, this game needed to walk. What's that phrase? This game needed to walk so that Resident Evil could run.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
there we go.
It's a research and development type aspect to it. They need that has faults, but they fix that in new games now. But without finding that fault, you'd never know you needed to fix it.
Exactly. So I appreciate this.
This game,
and what it did.
Like I said, Alone in the Dark, the remake, wasn't really on my radar. Not a scary type of game fan, as we all know. But now I'm like, that could actually be cool. This could be cool.
Is.
And it's got what's its name? Paul Harbour, the guy from
Stranger Things. From Stranger Things.
Yeah, and I love him. So I think he'd be great in that role as well because he's.
I love this man. I don't know the name of.
Like I said, that's everyone for me. But yeah, I can almost see the character he plays in Stranger Things playing the same role in this, but of course, 1920s PI. So I actually look forward to that game now.
Hopefully they fix the gameplay though, because tank controls. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, right.
Not a good time.
Yeah, we have to explain tank controls quickly. How do you spell? What game had
tank
that?
Controls? The reason they call it tank controls is your character is controlled like a tank.
I'm trying to think.
The directional pads.
It's moving, then forwards, isn't it? It's like left, forwards. So you have to orientate your person first, and then move forwards, then orientate and move. I'm trying to think of what other games do it. But they're horrid. They are absolute. Yeah, okay, back in the day, and this game was designed for a keyboard and stuff, so it somewhat makes sense.
And they didn't figure out controls at this point yet.
Yeah, there was even points where I was swinging at the zombies and I was missing because I was diagonally the wrong way. But from the camera angle, it didn't look like I was. You weren't facing them. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was unfortunate that the controls, the tank controls, were insane.
I would almost put the controls under performance.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
But that's just what controls were for 3D games at this point.
Exactly right.
Even for years afterwards. I think it's only with Super Mario 64 and Metal Gear Solid that they finally figured out controls for 3D games.
But you got to remember, this was also 3D. Everything else was 2D. Wolfenstein 2D, Sonic the Hedgehog 2D. Everything was backwards, forwards, up and down. The 3D, the angles and stuff, that was hard. Nobody really knew how to program it properly. It was a new thing. And like you said, it's the only real way they could have done it with MS-DOS and stuff back then.
Correct. It did take a while, but they eventually did figure it out. Unfortunately, this game just fell in the time when they haven't yet.
Yeah, exactly. And it just ages poorly in that regard. But you're right. It's unfortunate when we play so many perfectly smooth and amazing games. When you go back to this and you think, oh, God, this really is a 1992 game.
Oh, no. But this is a piece of history. I mean, it was originally developed for MS-DOS.
Yeah, like I say.
Really?
I know.
This game predates Windows.
Yeah, I've got fond memories, don't I? Every time you say MS-DOS, I actually smile. I loved MS-DOS. I loved typing. You used to have to type in the whole directory to start the game. I used to love that. I don't know why.
I've heard the legends.
Yes, of course. The black screen. It dir/p would give you your drive directory, or D, and it would give you. Oh, it was great times. But anyway, I digress. So performance.
Besides, I don't have anything really.
I only put down, and like you said, I'm not sure if it should be. It's the camera angles. The fixed ones, because each room, ladies and gentlemen, had a fixed camera as you came in. So sometimes it would be a camera over the window pointing at the door. Sometimes it would be from the door's perspective as you came in. And it's great in some way to build the atmosphere. I thought it was, because, like I said, with the chicken crashing through the window, you want to see that happen. So they had to mount the camera there. But with regards to controls, your controls kind of like reverse depending on which way the camera is. So
exactly. And
forwards is coming towards you or forwards is going away from you. and it can be really jarring and frustrating in regards to combat. I don't know if that's a performance issue or not.
There's even a tiny room in the pantry where once you move in, there seems to be like, I don't know, dung on the floor, and the camera pans down to your feet.
Yes, that's right. It was a clever idea.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was a clever idea. I appreciate what they were trying to do. It just didn't really pull it off.
It didn't really stick the landing because you move in and it's cool because it's a bit of cinematography.
Yeah, right? It really is. The
camera's looking up from your feet and the border is the dung. And all of a sudden, a zombie is behind you in this dramatic scene. But now you need to fight the zombie and the gameplay suffers.
Yeah, I agree. But
it's almost to a point where the performance is to blame.
Yeah, but like you said, you can respect them trying something new. Because this was all new stuff. And the idea they kept pushing the envelope by doing another angle or doing something, you can respect it even though it doesn't come off great. The idea that they even put the effort to do it's kind of cool. You can understand why this won Graphics of the Year, because they actually really tried.
Oh,
they really tried.
This was by far the best looking game of that year.
Yeah, no doubt.
When it comes to graphical fidelity, I'm sure there are pixel games on the SNES that...
Yes, of course.
That's not nicer on the eye, but this is pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, and like I said, we've got to always remember that this was 3D.
Yes.
3D, all those games, even SNES games, everything like that, it's 2D, made to look 3D sometime, but that was all pretty much just 2D, which is a lot easier to build and make.
Yeah, Wolfenstein and Doom, they were, I mean, sure, there are 3 dimensions, but the enemies are just flat.
Yeah, they
JPEGs
are. They're
that
flat
look in your sprites, that look in your direction.
That's right. They have no depth to them. No, it's interesting. Like I said, it's old, but it was revolutionary, and it still is. If you just look what they're trying to do, we're spoiled now, fundamentally.
Definitely. How much did this game cost when it released? Was this a $60?
Oh, not the equivalency potentially. Oh, I couldn't tell you that. How much? I know that PC games, big box PC games like Xbox, which I had, they were £30, so they were expensive. They were the equivalency. So I'd expect this to have done the 30 quid or what we do now, the 60 quid, because it was gaming had just started to catch. So and gaming wasn't seen as recreational. It was seen as a rich person's. I know it's funny to say, but. Compared to now, like, I think PlayStation's just outsold Nintendo or was on the way to or something. Every house has a console in now. Back in the day, if you had a SNES or if you had a Mega Drive, it was like 1 in 5 families. Like you said, you'd go around Pete's house to play on his. Because people didn't have consoles or home PCs. They were really expensive. They were kind of posh for rich people. And that's just slowly how it was. Yeah, exactly.
Then.
I remember still going to my neighbour's to play Street Fighter on his Nintendo because no one on the street had it. And he was a 18-year-old. He let me come around and just play games whilst he worked. So it's one of those things. So yeah, these games would have been expensive when they came out. They would have been fully priced PC games, I'd expect.
So an original print of this from 1992 would be extremely rare and a collector's item?
That's interesting. I'd say so. If it was properly done. Like, I know that there's lots of people who collect big box games. You know what I mean by big box? You know, the big A4 boxes.
Yes.
And the floppy disks that used to have the labels on them and stuff. Yeah, I bet there's a collector's. I've not looked. I'd be amazed if this wasn't quite a collector's item, though, because, like you said, it is a revolutionary. And they're remaking it, so lots of people must have liked it, because there's been no money in it.
Think it might be as much of a collector's item as the first Resident Evil.
No, exactly, yes. It depends on your fan base and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Because now this game, you can buy digitally on goodoldgames.com or on Steam even for about $15, which I don't, to play, maybe not, but just to own a piece of history, even if it is just digitally, I think that's fine.
Yeah, it is fine. No, I got you. Yeah, I agree. Is it just this one, or is it like all of the old ones?
I don't know. I think it's just this one.
Oh, wow.
Which, yes, okay, that might be a bit of a stretch.
Because with the size of these games, you could quite easily have put them all together. They're probably not even 100 megabytes. I can't remember the size of this one. And
I think if you know what you're doing, you can finish this game in an hour and a half.
Oh, yes. No, definitely. If you knew the puzzles and the wheres and the whats, very much so. I'd be amazed if it's even an hour, really.
Oh, wow. You'd be fighting the controls, if anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right, exactly. And you could just run to each room because you know where everything is.
Yeah.
But value for money, like you said, you would be getting a piece of history. This game is definitely... Like I said, I'd never played it. I didn't know anything about Alone in the Dark. I've now played this game for a few hours. And now I'm on board. I'm on board. The next remake looks cool. This game was good. You know, this is something, thank you, The List, all hail The List. I would have never picked this game up because it's 1992 and a horror game. I would have never touched it. But that's... I'm glad I did.
Sorry, same. I'm a big fan of horror games.
Mm-hmm.
I played the hell out of Callisto Protocol a while back.
Mm-hmm.
This is a piece of history that I very much appreciate. And I'm glad it paved the way for horror games to be what they are today.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
Thank you, Alone in the Dark. Thank you, Infogrames.
Which is a part of Atari. So they got bought out by Atari later on.
Oh, really?
Sense.
I didn't know that.
Atari basically bought everything out at some point in like the 90s. They were the biggest gaming company in the world. But anyway, I digress. Yes, it's well worth giving it a go. Even though it looks old, even though those youngsters out there, it does look pretty. This game is actually good. This game's good.
It really is. It really is. Although our score might, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
might not convey that entirely.
It's so difficult because we've got such pretty games, and it's so difficult to sit here and go 90s goggles, 90s goggles, 90s goggles.
It's difficult to do that. Just remember this is a good game. We're critiquing these games. We can't give everything an A.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
B+.
Exactly. And you're literally critiquing a game you weren't born when
exactly.
it was out. You didn't even exist.
Allowed.
Yeah, you weren't even around.
Ooh,
yeah,
this could be a good point for a PSA. Please don't worry too much about the rating.
No, exactly.
Please.
No, exactly.
Just go play the game if it interests you.
Exactly right.
We don't care about these ratings. No. You shouldn't either.
Exactly.
But because it's part of the podcast, we gave Alone in the Dark 1992. Ooh, wait a minute. We let our scores enter the Derceto Mansion. There we go. They went to look for clues at the attic and was able to GTFO. Some of the scores died and turned into hosts. Very unfortunate. That turned into the letter grade rating of C, which
I'm sorry, but C is great for 1992. If you think 1992, it got a C. It's the same score as The Forest. We gave The Forest a C too, and Killer 7. If you think of just the time frame between those two games, or 3 games altogether, that's a good score. A C is a good score. And some of it, we'll be biased because we play lots. You know, we can put as 90s goggles as much as we can, but we're still going to be annoyed by control schemes because it's so easy now and stuff like that. So the score's going to have a bit of bias to it. There is. We like gaming now compared to back then. But a C, it's a good game. There's no doubt. It's a good score.
Please don't. A lot of people are going to hear C and think, oh, shit game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
no, go play the game. Forget about the rating.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Enjoy the game. Just enjoy them. Who cares what other people say or do? Just enjoy them as an individual.
I think this game really is... I think this game really is a treat. I can't imagine what it must have been like.
Right,
for this game in 1992.
I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall. It must have been really cool. No doubt.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind to leave a review, we'd appreciate that a lot. You could follow us on our social channels, Threads, Instagram, but you could also catch us on email. There we go. Got there in the end. I'm Nick at criticalarcade.com.
And I'm Dave at criticalarcade.com.
Besides for your email, Dave, where else can we follow you?
Well, I am out and about, but I did just so happen to build myself a new haunted mansion on a hill with Cthulhu and some crows, and I've got Edgar Allan Poe around, and I've got H.P. Lovecraft. We're all hanging out there. And if you come in, there will be pitch dark, and I will release one of the monsters that you find in this game, but I'm not going to tell you which one. So it could be a KFC chicken thing. It could be a zombie. It could be a weird jellyfish in the bath. A weird blue thing that used to expand. I don't know what the hell that was. Dancing mannequins. There was a big blue thing in a library type place. I don't even know what it was trying to be.
I got into the library and the Indian's hammer followed me and killed me.
Yeah, I remember that. No, there was this blue. It kind of reminded me of the Michelin Man, but it was blue. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay. I thought maybe it was like a bloated ghoul or something. But either way, he could be waiting for you. All I know is it's going to be not just pitch black. It's not going to be like Resident Evil black. It's going to be as in your screen dyed black. That stressful black that you can't see anything with. So by all means, come in. Me and my friends, Lovecraft, Mr. Lovecraft, and Mr. Poe.
Mr. Poe.
Mr. Poe will be just there enjoying ourselves.
I'm sure some people would love to.
Yeah, it's true. I get all those English majors coming in. Yeah, that's right.
But don't do it. Exactly. Resist. Support us on Patreon rather for bonus episodes and Critical Cinema. You know what that is by now. You could. Oh right, Dave. What have we got lined up for next week?
Oh sure, I almost forgot to. Okay, next week's game is 1 second. Sorry, got to load everything up. Next week's game is. A game, another Indy 500, right?
Correct, Indy 500, baby.
Which is always fun to do. They're the most exciting. I've never heard of it. I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. It's called the Caligula effect. Caligula. The Caligula. Caligula's something, isn't it, or place?
I've no idea.
It has an effect. I know that. But yeah, we're playing the Caligula effect.
The Caligula effect.
Is it? I don't know if that's an RPG or...
It is. It's another JRPG. I don't know why the list is giving us many JRPGs. All hail the list.
All hail the list. That couldn't sound less like a JRPG.
Right?
Like, JRPGs are always swordsmen of this or the fantasy of fun, you know.
Dragon
sounds like
Quest,
a science
echoes
lesson.
Of
Yeah, exactly. The Caligula effect sounds like a lesson my teacher's going to teach me today. You know, today we're going to be looking... Okay, but I look forward to it. Maybe it's interesting. I've never heard of it. They're always the most fun for me when they're games I've never heard of and I get to play them. So tune in next week because I have no clue what this is about.
We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.